Welcome once again to yet another beautiful program on Humanist TV Africa, and this is where you find the most educative, the most informative information that you need to move forward. You need to appreciate the world in a much better way. My name is Kato Mukasa, and I'm part of this team, Humanist TV Africa, and of course I have a team of very able, well-informed panelists and hosts we do this work with. Of course, in the studio is Dennis Bongole, who does the production and is based in Uganda. And of course, there is another producer, that is Brian Kabeko, who is also based in Kenya and does the production. We're a team of quite a number of people willing to do the serving. Now, I want to request you to please follow us by looking out on our YouTube channel. Please register, please subscribe, please share. Our YouTube channel is Humanist TV Africa, and the same name is for our Facebook page. We want to encourage you to kindly share our work, share our videos, share our episodes that we do have here on Humanist TV Africa. And I've been saying over and over again, we intend to entertain you, we intend to educate you, we intend to inform you. A TV is informative, is educative, but also does entertain. We shall be bringing to you music, drama, some comedy, and all those things that you want to see, of course, including street interviews, which are abrupt, and people are asked a number of issues in different parts of Africa. We shall be doing street interviews, and we'll be able to see these interviews live, say from Harare, Zimbabwe, from Accra, Ghana, from Nairobi, Kenya, from Kampala, Uganda. You'll be able to see these interviews from Lagos in Nigeria and many other cities of Africa. We're going to be giving you live interviews. You hear people in different parts of Africa, what they say, what they discuss about topics. We shall have topics specifically for children. We shall have topics for the elderly. We shall have topics to do with family, to do with marriage. We shall have topics to do with politics, of course, governance issues in Africa, human rights issues in Africa. We shall be a versatile network that is set out to change the narrative about information in Africa. Of course, we shall also be giving you news as it happens in different parts of the world. This is Humanist TV Africa, and welcome once again to this wonderful show. Today, we are talking about religion. We are talking about religion, the problem with religion in Africa, and this is episode 2. We shall be having different episodes to expose the lies about religion in Africa. Remember, we have been saying that in Africa, religions and different forms. Of course, we have the African traditional religions, where our ancestors used to worship so many things. They used to be naturalistic, they used to be spiritualistic, people who worshipped ancestors, followed the spirits. In Africa, people used to worship mountains. People used to worship lakes and rivers and big stones, big animals. Gods were different. Gods were seen in different things. Even the dead were being worshipped in Africa. Africa had so many gods. I tell you, no one should tell you a lie that the missionaries brought us God. No, the missionaries found us with God. Um, Anthropologist James Mbiti said that Africans are notoriously religious. We are notoriously religious. We had so many gods. Can you imagine that in the world there are about 4,200 gods and therefore religions because each god is worshipped? We have about 4,200 religions, therefore gods in the world. Now, religion is a deep thing. Philosophically, it has been interpreted in different ways. Of course, philosophers have given their own interpretation of religion, and we did discuss this in our episode 1. If you missed it, I'm not going to be repeating defining these things directly because my panelists who were in episode 1 were able to basically define what religion is, and in other episodes I've been able to distinguish between religion but also humanism. We said that humanism is not a religion because you don't follow any dogma, you don't follow any creed, you don't follow any hierarchy, you don't have any specific day to worship, and basically you don't worship. Humanists don't worship anything. Humanists believe in values because people normally say, oh, humanists and atheists don't believe. That's a lie. We basically believe in human rights. We believe in good governance. We believe in democracy. We believe in raising a better family. We believe in equality of sexes, equality of gender. We believe in fairness. We believe in free speech. So don't say humans don't believe in anything. Atheists don't believe in anything. We believe in something. But we don't believe in deities. We don't believe in gods. That's where we differ from the rest of the pack. Whereas someone is going to do this and is going to worship like this, is going to go and stone a certain wall in Medina or Mecca, whatever it is going to look up and worship. Humanists and atheists basically do not do that. We don't have a day where we're going to worship. If we are going to meet, we're going to meet for debates. We are going to meet to share ideas. We share ideas online. We share ideas in conferences. We meet at universities. We meet in schools. We meet in bars. Humanists basically meet everywhere. We don't have a specific day to go and meet that we are going to meet God and talk to God. No, humanists don't do like that because basically humanists are atheists. Humanists are atheists, therefore they don't believe in the deities. They don't believe in the deities. We simply believe in ourselves. Humanists put humanity at the forefront of everything. Humanity is what drives us because we are humans first, but doesn't mean that we negate the environment. We take care of the environment. We take care of the future of those who would come after us. We know we are going to die at one point and others are going to take over, so we take care of the future by doing what is right today. Those are humans. Now, religion, we are not religious, and this is the Humanist TV. We are completely secular and scientific. We believe in hard evidence. And we know that science is good, but science may not be right every time. But when science gets it wrong, then it means science has discovered the best way to do it. So we don't worship science at all, but we believe that science has the best way to take us forward. Not gods, not fairy tales, not mythology, not wishful thinking, not dreams, not visions. They don't take anyone forward, but science, proven scientific method, scientific analysis of facts and evidence takes us forward as human beings. And humanists, we believe that the human being is at the center stage of shaping their own destiny. We believe in effectiveness, we believe in fairness, we believe in freedoms for all. We don't believe in racism, we don't believe in discrimination, apartheid, we don't believe in war and violence. We want to promote peace and unity. That is humanism. Now, going back to religion, as we said in our episode number 1, we said that religion has doomed and dwarfed the thinking of many people in Africa. Remember, I told you in the beginning that James Mbiti, one of the anthropologists, famous anthropologists in Africa, say that Africans are notoriously religious. It is in Africa where you find people go to churches from Monday to Monday. They call them night prayers, they call them Sunday prayers, they call them morning prayers, they call them lunchtime prayers, they call them evening prayers. You can imagine in a country like Uganda, where we have 45 millions of people, and about 90% of those Ugandans claim to be religious. But at the same time, there is a lot of violence in Uganda. At the same time, there is a lot of corruption in Uganda. At the same time, there is a bad regime that actually is killing people, that actually is misorganizing, misleading people. But also these leaders, the MPs, the politicians at all levels, claim to be believers in God, followers of God, but at the same time, they steal from the public purse. Yet you find that countries like Denmark, countries like Netherlands, countries like Norway, Iceland, Finland, Sweden, these countries where actually the majority of people don't believe in a dogma, people openly say we don't believe in a God, you find that these countries have the best management, the best leaders, the best prime ministers, the best members of parliament. You find that their institutions work for the people because these people are humane, they are humans, they are atheists. They have put the human being at the center of everything. If it's going to be a road, this road must be built and must last for a long time. It's going to be a school, it must serve people, it must train them to think, to reason, to be creative. Because the people in the countries I've mentioned are pro people, they are not pro themselves. Because what happens with the religion is that you look at something above, you fear something which is above and unknown, and you don't fear your own humanity. You don't actually respect, fear is a bad word, you don't actually respect your own people. Because what you fear, you only fear God. That's how they say. And now God becomes an escape route, escapism, because you worship that person up, you go kill people, you go rob people, you take out people's funds, there's no medicine in the hospitals, you tell them to go and pray. There are no jobs in the country, you tell them to go and pray. Now, prayer becomes the excuse that keeps people in perpetual poverty in Africa. Africa is notoriously religious. Look at northern Nigeria, where the Fulani and other people, the jihadists, actually, the Boko Haram, have been killing Nigerians and terrorizing the entire West Africa, Cameroon, and other countries neighboring Nigeria. The Boko Haram have been terrorizing them for the last 15 to 20 years. And Boko Haram means Western education is bad. Boko Haram, Western education is bad. That's the ideology. Now, if people who think that actually education is bad, they have something wrong with their heads. Yes, earlier on I've said that education is skewed. Education sometimes is not the best thing, the way they pass it on to us, but generally education is good. No one should say education is a bad thing. But Boko Haram says that Western education is bad, therefore they want an Islamic state. They want to teach people how to recite a Quran. Now you can imagine how worse things can get. They want to teach children how a certain prophet went to heaven on a horse, on a flying horse. They want to teach children that actually a certain prophet had a young girl at 9 years and made her his wife when was beyond 50 years. Now a 50-year-old man can actually marry a girl of 9 years and it is fine. Now this is what religion preaches. This is what religion promotes. The religion will tell you that a certain God, something like 2,000 years or 3,000 years ago, put a certain man called Adam in a Garden of Eden and actually extracted a rib from Adam and made a woman from a rib of a man. Now, scientifically, that is very stupid because it's impossible. Scientifically, the DNA in the cells of a man are different from the DNA in the cells of a woman. You can Google it, you can research it. The DNA in the cells found in a man's blood and body are completely different from the DNA in the cells found in the woman. So there's no way you can get a man's flesh and create a woman. Now you can imagine that mythology is dead on arrival. The story of Adam is dead on arrival because you cannot create a woman directly from a man. It is impossible. And you cannot create a world without light. You cannot have plants without light, without all these things. Now, when you look at these stories, the mythology in this Bible and in these books, the Torah for the Jews, and the Bible for the Christians, the Quran for the Muslims, all these things are cooked up. They are simply cooked up information, cooked up evidence to make sure that people have something to believe in. They will tell you that there were floods. Basically, there were no floods as described in the Bible. There might have been floods in different parts of the world, but the floods which the Bible talks about were never there. History does not show that. They never happened. The mountain they talk about, Mount Ararat and others, these mountains are actually shorter. They are bigger, a taller mountain than that mountain they talk about in the Bible. There is Kilimanjaro right here in East Africa, in my motherland, down there, much taller. There's Everest, much taller. Now you cannot say that this mountain they talk about in the Bible, actually Noah happened to do a boat and a ship, whatever it was, and then these floods happened. It is a lie. Now religion develops and persists and survives on fear and lies. They will tell you there is heaven, which doesn't actually exist. They will tell you there is hell, which doesn't exist up there. Because when you die, when the science says you are dead. When you die, you are dead. That's the end of you. And I've been telling people that when I die, don't waste people's time to tell them that I'm going to feature in their dreams. I will never come to disturb anyone. Because when you are died, you are dead. That is it. So there is no heaven up there. There is no hell up there. And I've been telling people that the heaven is right here on earth. When we are able to work smart, work hard, do your due diligence, be honest with people, have a skill, and be able to save and invest, you are going to create your own heaven right here. Have a skill that people demand. Be valuable. Be genuine, be trusted, be a person with integrity. Trust me, you will never be arrested. Trust me, you will have friends and you will keep your friends because people will like you, people will love you, people will support you. You will create your own small heaven right here. But again, if you go from the social norms, you deviate, you become a thief, you become a bad person, you become a murderer, you become an insulting person, you pickpocket, you are a fraudster, you are going to be arrested, you are going to be beaten, and possibly you are going to be killed. Therefore, in the process of killing you, that will be your hell. If you're going to be lazy, you don't work, you want to simply be there, beg for money, you don't wake up and work, you are not creative, you are going to be in perpetual poverty. And now, perpetual poverty is the definition of hell. In Africa, many people cannot earn £1 a day. Therefore, in economics, we say that they live below the poverty line. Now, that is poverty line, and poverty line means hell. Now, when someone asks me, Kato, is there hell? I will say, yes, there is hell, and that hell is here when you are poor and you lack medication, you lack food, you lack housing, you lack any possibility of survival. That is your hell. So there is hell, but hell is here. You create it. Go and murder someone, you will have your hell because you'll be arrested and you spend your entire life in jail. Jail, prison is hell. So there is hell, but the hell is right here. And there is heaven. The heaven is right here. So the choice is yours. Forget about religion telling you there is hell up there. that is the heaven up there, that happy are the poor because the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Don't tell a lie. There's nothing good in being poor. Don't tell yourself a lie. There is nothing good in being poor. Trust me. Poverty is the worst thing. Be there, lack 10,000 in your pocket. Trust me, you'll be sick. Poverty is the worst hell you can ever have. So never demand, never desire to be poor. That's why the rich people, wealthy people are always happy. Even when they are sick, they are assured of medication, they are assured of lunch and supper, they are assured of continuity of their families. Even when they are going to die, they die with hope. Because what destroys us is the lack of hope. Now, what does the religion do? Religion gives us what I've been saying, it gives us false hope. Religion gives us false hope. They will tell you, do not worry, simply pray, and this loving God is going to take you to heaven. Simply pray, and the miracle is going to happen, and your disease is going to go. Simply pray, HIV is going to go. Simply pray, poverty is going to go. Simply pray, you are going to get a job. No one should tell that prayers work. It's your imagination praying on your psyche. You cannot simply pray and say you're going to pass your exams. You'll never pass your exams because you have prayed. Basically, you have to go and read hard and research and have a discipline to memorize, to understand what you are reading. You cannot chase poverty by prayers. That's why Africa is still poor, yet we are the prayer warriors. Look around your church, look around your village. In most cases, the most prayerful person in that village is the most poorest. And guys who are hardworking, who are having farms, who are having big businesses, they don't really waste time in prayers. You will never find someone having a shop to sell in the morning, going to church for night prayer, going to church for morning prayer, going to church for lunchtime prayer, because this person is busy. That's why when Africans leave Africa and go to Europe, they become atheists. They become atheists. Research it. Their religiosity reduces. Why? They live a situation where they had to work so hard to get medication. They were passing on very bad roads. They were dying in accidents. Life was a gamble because the roads are poor, schools are poor, hospitals are poor. Therefore, survival rate is so low. Now they go to Europe, they go to US, they go to Asian countries like Singapore. They find that roads are better, schools are better, hospitals have medicine. Now they find that even the people there don't actually waste time in prayers. Now, an African who has left Uganda after 3 years of not seeing a church, of seeing only 5 people in a church. You go to London, you go to these churches here in the UK, and you find 10 people in a church service, 10 people in a very big church. And incidentally, 8 of them out of the 10 are from Africa in those churches. Now, at the end of the day, people are going to lose it and say, why am I wasting time coming here? I have food, I have medication, the roads are good, I earn something, not so much, but at least I can manage life. Why am I praying? Why am I wasting my time? I think God can find me in my house. That's how they began. That's how they begin. They begin by not going to church and say, I think I can pray from home. Now, what happens is that with time, even the prayers at home become useless because everything is well defined. Why do Africans pray so much? Everything is not defined. Everything is a gamble. Everything is a gamble. So in Africa, people pray so much because they think religion has the answers for their problems. A dictator shoots people, like what Museveni did in 2021, shooting over 100 people who were protesting on the streets of Kampala in November 18th and November 19th of 2021. The government of Museveni killed over 100 people on the streets of Kampala. People were agitating to free an opposition candidate, and were shot dead. What happened? People organized national prayers to pray for the dead. And the victims went like that, and the killers were known. In my book, I've documented the killers, I've documented the car that had gunmen that were shooting people. In my book, Stolen Legacy, Stolen Legitimacy, I've documented who killed those people and which people actually were killed. Now, when we document these things, we want to be proactive. We want the government to work. We want international agencies to work. But in Uganda, you kill people, and what do they do? What do they do? They go behind curtains, they go in churches and mosques and pray that God is going to come and intervene. And God does not come to intervene. The man rules them for 37 years and counting. The man went to leadership in 1986 and has been ruling with an iron fist, where even meetings, public gatherings are illegal. You have to get police clearance to have a public political rally. You have to have a police clearance in Uganda. Actually, pray to God. And the same people have pastors like Bugingo and others who are politicians supporting the ruling government to continue killing people. Now you find that pastors actually support the misrule that happens in Uganda. And you find that the president uses national money, national treasury, national coffers to build churches, to buy pastors and reverends and bishops fuel gathering cars, fuel gatherers, expensive cars bought using taxpayers' money. But mark you, we don't have machines that can actually operate someone who has a heart problem. We don't have machines that can detect cancer and work on cancer patients effectively. We don't have machines that actually can look at heart failure problems. We have to take our children, our uncles, our relatives, our friends to India to have medication. Yet in Uganda, the president and his team spend so much money appeasing religious people. Now, that is the problem with religion, that you get monies and you misallocate them. You get monies and you misallocate them. Money that would have been helpful to people to buy medicine, to people to have better roads, to people to have better schools and well-paid teachers. This money is not put where it must go. This money is stolen, or it is given to religious people. It is used to build hospitals, mosques and churches. Now, this is the problem we're talking about of religion. You ask, what is the problem of religion in Africa? That's the problem. It makes people complacent. It makes people comfortable in their poverty and misrule. Why? Because every Sunday they tell them that leadership comes from God. They tell them that leadership comes from God. Now, when people know that leadership comes from God, therefore they know that these bad rulers, it's God who has ordained. And actually they use scriptures like, touch he who is anointed by God. Don't touch a person who God anointed. And they will tell you that every leader comes from God, whether bad or good, it's God is choosing. Now we end up having bad regimes in power that actually connive with the religious people, the religious leaders, and then there's no progress in Africa. You find that people basically die of treatable diseases like malaria, like diarrhea can kill a child, like cough can kill a child. Why? Because we'll never see these cases in Europe, that someone is dying of fever, of diarrhea, of cough. It's very hard to find this kind of death in Europe. Why? Because they have fixed their healthcare system. And don't dare say that they don't have the money. In fact, Africa has the money. Our countries are richer. Our countries have what it takes to fix our hospitals, to fix our roads. What we lack is goodwill of our politicians. What we lack is goodwill of our politicians, because they know that we have nothing to do. We have given everything to God. And because they know that we practically worship them, our leaders, our politicians become the demigods. They become our own gods, because we see them, we praise them to give us something to survive. Now, that is the problem with the religion. The religion drafts the thinking of humanity. And I've put it in my book, The God Business. I'll put it in my book, the God Business. The producer will be showing you the slides. And of course, you're going to see the title of my book, The God Business, where I document all these things. Please go to Amazon, put in my name, Katom Mukasa, and look for this book, The God Business and the Death of Reason in Africa. This is a wonderful book, trust me. Buy it today. You'll give comments after reading just 2 chapters. You will see the history of religion all over the world. I trace this history of religion and humanity, where it began all, how people invented gods. God never made people. People made gods. Now, look at that book. I will tell you how many gods men created and why men created gods. I'll tell the origin of Christianity. I'll tell you the mythology behind Judaism, and I will tell you how the Roman Empire created Catholicism. I will tell you the Council of Nicaea, how it sat and selected which book must be featured where. I will tell you the forgotten books in the Bible and what they were saying. I'll tell you so many things. Of course, I'll rush and tell you about the region today in Africa. I'll talk about Nigeria. I'll talk about Ghana. I'll talk about Uganda, Kenya, and I'll show you how religions drafts the thinking of Africans, how pastors are stealing, how pastors are faking miracles. And I put photos in that book. The book is rich with so many graphic images. You like them. And above all, I give you statistics in that book. I give you dates, I give you years, I give you statistics in that book. You are going to see how religions are created, how human beings created Jesus Christ, how they created Allah, how they created God, and why they basically created these things. For example, look at Christmas, which was a pagan day where people could meet in ancient Rome and have sex and drink wine on that very day that became Christmas, 25th of December. Then they simply say, let us change this day from Saturnalis to Jesus Christ's birthday. It was never actually the birthday of Jesus Christ. Even if Jesus Christ was born, as they say, there's no way you could have been born in a manger in December when there is snow, when the place is so cold. There's no way you can have these so-called wise men walking on snow, walking that winter in December. It was impossible. Now, that's one thing where it simply cannot happen that Jesus Christ was born in December. It is impossible. But Christians in Uganda, in Africa, basically think that Jesus Christ was born in December. If at all he was born, maybe he was born in September, because there are some books I've read, especially the forgotten books of the Bible. Simply Google them, put their forgotten books of the Bible. You'll find out some Bible books that actually were removed. I can mention some names, and then you're going to find these books interesting. They're going to tell you, no, Jesus Christ actually was born in September, around September, and they are going to give their own calculation using a Jewish calendar, because the Jewish calendar is different from a Christian calendar. Now, they are going to give their own version. But honestly, Jesus Christ is a mythology. It's myth. Myth is something which is created through stories, but it never actually existed. But you create stories to feel good, to have a conversation with their children. Then a story becomes reality because many people now believe in it. This is how Jesus Christ was invented. This is how Islam was invented, because Islam came so many years when Christianity had been formed, and Christianity came so many years when Judaism had been formed. All these religions, basically the three Abrahamic religions, stem from Judaism. Judaism is much older than Christianity and Islam. Islam is just a recent thing of a Muhammad who came and wanted to change things and wanted to be radical and wanted to expose his own agenda, and then said, this is what Subhanallah says, peace be upon him. Now, all these religions, if you follow them, they are rooted in culture, they are rooted in norms, they are rooted in social etiquettes of a certain people. The way they looked at the sun, this was medieval. Basically, these were sun worshippers. Now, religion itself had a purpose. Otherwise, how would emperors, how would kings, how would chiefdoms be governed without having a streamed way of meeting people, calling people to order? Religion was like a school today or a university today where I put people together. It was like a prison. How do you people put people together and make sure that they think in the same line? You give them an ideology. You give them something to think about so that they forget about other things. You tell them that, look, I'm not the one saying these words. These words are said by someone invisible. It means that the stubborn human being is going to fear the invisible than fearing the visible. So it was a way of these politicians of the time to be able to control the masses. Look what Constantine did, of course, at the Council of Nicaea. How would he rule his empire when everyone was fighting everyone, when priests were fighting among each other, when Jews wanted to break away? You promised them a Messiah. You tell them, look, don't worry about it. Your Messiah is actually coming tomorrow. So emperors would create things like Jesus Christ because they want to manage people. How would you manage the Jews? The Jews are very, very, very strict people with their gods. Up to now, the Jews rejected Jesus Christ. But this emperor was here convincing them to accept this Messiah coming. And they rejected him. But he was successful to unify his kingdom that was crumbling, the Roman Empire that was crumbling. Use Christianity, rally people together, and become more powerful. It was a tool. Religion is a tool to fool people, to give them hope, which is false hope, to give them a direction and a sense of belonging. I think I've defined that. You give them a sense of belonging, you give them hope, you make them dream bigger in their smallness. That is religion. Now, when you talk about religion and how is the problem, that is the problem. Think about the Islamic world, where they introduced taxes like Azizah, and all the Jews had to be forced to pay tax. If you don't pay tax, you are killed. If you don't convert to Islam, you are killed. Now, if a religion is spread through violence, how can a religion be called to be a religion of peace? If Catholicism was banning the so-called witches, the so-called apostates, the so-called non-believers, if Catholicism was spread through blood and iron using a sword, if Catholicism, the Pope was blessing guns and swords and bombs to go and kill people, the Pope, the Catholic Pope, blesses soldiers to go and fight so that the kingdom of God can be widened. How do you spread a good thing through shedding blood? Common sense. How do you take good knowledge, good information, by forcing those who want to get it to get it? You have to force them, you have to beat them into submission. But I tell them, I'm giving you something good, I have to kill you if you don't take it. What's the logic there? Why would the Pope sanction slavery? The Pope, not one Pope, not two Popes, sanctioned slavery and blessed their people, the Jesuits and others, to go in Italy, to go in Spain, to go in Portugal, and to go to North Africa to get slaves. Why would a God-fearing man, like all these popes, Pope Julius and many others, sanction slavery? Why? Because they knew deep down that this was politics. They knew that deep down the Catholic Church was playing politics. Think about it again, that the Catholic Church had popes that actually married women, that the Catholic Church had popes that had children fighting each other to see who takes on the next papacy. Now, which type of church is this one? Where the Pope had women, where the children of these popes were fighting each other, and you still think that the Pope is a representative of Peter and therefore God. What type of nonsense can that one be? To believe that a man who had so many women, who was indulging in sex orgies, in wine taking, and is simply having the hair, the dresses, the cassock of a pope, that this man actually was representing God, not his own empire. Now, that is the problem with the religion. People do not even research how Catholicism began. They don't even research how Protestantism began, that King Henry VIII of England, during the Tudors regime, basically refused the Pope's demand that he remains with one wife. And he said, I must marry a second wife who is younger, because this one was for my brother, and I need a successor. I need a heir. And he said, if the Pope refuses, I'm going to fight the Pope, and I'm going to declare myself the head of the Church of England. And that's how the church was begun, by King Henry VIII. You can research that. But people, how do you believe in a church that was begun by a politician who wanted to get a second wife? How do you believe in a church that was begun by a politician who was the King of England, King Henry VIII, who wanted to simply have a second wife? And because of that, he said, I'm now the head of the church. That's why up today, the Church of England is headed by the king. Now, which type of religion is this? And how do you believe that it is true? When it is begun by a man who simply wants to marry a young, beautiful woman, and he has a successor. And we think this man is serious, this man has God. And that's why Sir Thomas More resisted the king. King Henry VIII resisted him. He said, I'm your handsman, I'm your thinker, I'm your strategist, I'm your prime minister. I'm not in agreement with you. Please do not abandon the Catholic Church. Please do not marry this second woman. What did the king do? The king had Sir Thomas More executed, and his head was cut off. Which type of church was this? Which type of foundation was this Protestant Church of England began? Which type of shaky foundation? Someone who simply wants to marry a woman and get a successor, get a son, and begins a religion. Now, which type of religion is this one? And Africans are simply calling themselves, we are Protestants. What are you protesting? What are you Africans protesting in being part of the Church of England? Because you don't know its roots, but you are simply protesting for what exactly? If you're Catholic, why are you Catholic? If you're a Muslim, why are you a Muslim? These are the questions we ask humbly on this channel, because we want to wake you up. We want to make you think beyond the box. Why should you be taking 10% of your income to church? Why should we be donating money to a church? Why? Think about it. Why don't you take this money to a charity and help the poor directly? Why don't you look at your neighbor who is suffering and buy them a mattress, buy them food, take a child to school, pay school fees for one term for this child out of the 10%? I'm sure I'll be so happy. Why do you donate money to pastors? For what purpose? Look, among the 10 most rich pastors in the world, 5 of them are from Africa, and not Africa, from Nigeria. 5 of the most rich pastors. Google it right now. Put in the most richest pastors in the world today. Trust me, among the 10, 5 of them are from one country, Nigeria. They have private jets, they have mansions, they have hotels, they have empires, businesses, schools, universities, private schools, international schools in their name. Where did they get money? They got money from Africa. They have opened up branches all over Africa, including Uganda. They have their own branches there. Nigerian pastors have branches in Uganda. They have gone as far as Europe. They have branches in the UK. Now, Africans who were given Jesus Christ by the Englishmen and women are now taking back Jesus Christ to England, because the Englishmen and women have rejected their own Jesus Christ. As we speak now, 51% of people in the UK no longer believe in dogma, no longer believe in any God, are not religious. Check it. Please Google it. 51% of the people living in the UK are not religious. Recent census has shown. what are Africans doing? Africans with their own laziness bring their own gods from Africa and bring it back to UK. What a shame. A people who gave you religion have abandoned it. And shamelessly, you are saying, wake up, this is your God. Please, may you take your God back. We are bringing your God so that you can be able to go to heaven. They are telling you, we gave you nonsense. It was a time for politics. That's why we gave you this nonsense. We are now abandoning it because we are no longer interested in following people. The Englishmen and people in the UK are no longer interested. They are no longer imperialists. They were never there even. Those were their ancestors who did all those things. Now they want to do good for the better. Now you bring back the same nonsense to UK, the same religion, the same indoctrination, the same violence. You bring it back to the United Kingdom, where people want peace and development. Africans, you come back, you come to the UK with their backwardness, and you say, we are going to take back Jesus to the Englishmen and women. What a shame. Now, these are things we must reconsider. Why is it that countries that are doing well today are not religious? Google it. Put in the most happiest countries in the world. Number one will be Denmark, Norway, Iceland, Netherlands, Sweden, Finland. They are going to be ranked in that order, or more or less that order. They're going to be from one area, Schengen area. UK may come about 9 or 10 or even 12 among the most happiest countries in the world. And ask yourself, what do they have in common? Number one, they don't actually believe in gods. They no longer believe in gods. The most happiest countries in the world. Happiness index. By ranking, you may find that people in those countries, 80%, 70%, 60% say we don't believe in God. They have taken back their lives. They are in control of their own destiny. They are happy. They have governments that serve them. They don't have war. They don't have famine. People live up to 90 years or 100. They are happy. They have better roads. They have better hospitals. Why? Their leaders are reasoning. Their leaders have a humanistic way of approaching leadership. Their leaders are humanist at heart. They put people beyond gods. They put people beyond everything. That's why we say humanism is the best way to go. Simply Google it right now, my viewer. Put in the most happiest countries in the world. You will tell me, you will concur with me that those countries I've mentioned are part of the most happiest countries. Denmark will not miss, and Norway will not miss, Sweden will not miss, Netherlands. Those are most happiest countries in the world. Countries like Iceland, very happy country. Why? These people know that the era for gods and religion is over. Dennis, if you may, and the studio, Dennis O'Brien, may you please pray for us at the episodes, the slides, the photos, so that we can be able to wind up this show, which is strictly 1 hour. The problem with the region. If the slides are ready, look at that. Region does 3 things quite effectively. It divides people, it controls people, and it deludes people. Divide people, control them, and delude them, confuse them. So be careful with the religion. Thank you very much, Dennis. That was a good one. Yes, look at this poster here. There's a freedom of expression, so go to hell. These are jihadists, these are Islamic extremists, and they are saying freedom of expression must go to hell because they don't believe in freedom of expression. If you speak the things I speak, and when Saudi Arabia will be beheaded because they don't believe in freedom of speech. Look at the people who are saying they are waiting for Jesus. They are taking wine. These are politicians. Look at them. Presidents, prime ministers, leaders of the world. They are drinking, they are having fun. And for you to think they are waiting for Jesus, they laugh at you. Look at that meme, that poster. Akwishante, they are talking to a saying they face up. Judaism, they force the wall, they face the wall. Islam, they look at the floor, they knock their heads at the floor. And Hinduism, they're talking to the decor. That's how religion works. Everyone has first something. That woman there, Mother Teresa, was honored the wrong way. People thought for so many years that that woman there was doing good to save the poor, the orphans. Incidentally, he was starving the children in Calcutta, India. She was supposed to save. She starved the children to death because she thought that a painful death leads to heaven. Meanwhile, she got so much money and gave the money to the Catholic Church. That woman there is a shame. And now people have been bashing her. Proof Jesus exists is only in the Bible. Nowhere you will find proof that Jesus exists. Only exists in the Bible, which was actually written by Romans. Now, and the proof that Harry Potter exists, of course, the book. You can see the confusion. Everyone says, I'm true, I'm right, I'm correct, but how to prove it? It's only the Bible. You see how religion enslaves people. You make women forget about being happy, that they are going to pray their entire life to a certain magical God. They are going to deny their own feelings. They are going to deny their own aspirations. They are going to die poor because poverty is good in that religion. Which is more likely to happen? Monsters, alien invasion, the return of Jesus Christ, or zombies coming back, apocalypse? What is more likely to happen? Of course, Jesus won't come back. Zombies may not come back. Aliens, maybe. Monsters, not so sure. You see, it is forcing you to think. Look at the style Jesus Christ may like it to come. Assuming that Jesus Christ is going to come in the 21st century, do you think it's going to come the way they think? It's going to come riding like that, or a bicycle. It's going to come in a style. But is that true, really? Is that true? Think about it. Jesus Christ riding, rolling like a ninja, like the bad guy. Now, these things make you to think. Look at how these children are talking about in their conversation. In their conversation, the kids are saying that, Dennis, wait a bit to move it. Does your family say a prayer before you eat your food? And this one says, nope, my dads are gay. They know how to cook. You see? My dads are gay. They know how to cook. The kids can think. The kids can think. But for us, what are we talking about? We are teaching our kids to hate everyone because they love differently. Then let us continue, please. Next slides, please. You just need to laugh at these people. Someone says he has a PhD in theology. Honestly, what do you study in theology? Because these are lies. How do you get a doctorate in studying lies, in studying myth, in studying things that never happened? And you say I have a PhD in theology. In nothing. Adam and Eve were the first people to eat the apple, but was it an apple? Was it actually true? Or they simply disobeyed? It makes you to think. I was talking about this ancient Rome at the celebration of Saturnalia took place in December and included feasting, gift giving, and uninhibited sex. Then the Christians adopted it, took the sex out, and turned it into Christmas. That is Christmas 20 years, 2,000 years ago. You can see the parties. These two men, God told them, the man in white, to drink wine, that is the Pope, but never to get married. And he told the man in black, and then he turns around and tells the man in black to never drink wine, but get 4 wives. That's sarcastic, really. The same God tells this one differently and this one differently. Religion, God exists. Me, cool, show me proof. Religion is going to show you the Bible. The Bible, remember, is a book of lies, is a book of politics founded on mythology. So which means that is nullity. Look at the hell. Someone is believing that there's going to take you in a hell. Someone is going to have long forks to push you into hell. It doesn't exist that way. Look at this child. What do you learn from this child? No? This photo. Can you believe that a man that age can marry a baby? But the Quran says so. The Quran says that actually their prophet married Aisha and other kids. That is a photo of one of the colleagues I met in a train. It's called Matthew. Matthew, I met him in a train, and he told me he's an atheist bishop. We had a group of young people, and we had fun on that train, and he was mocking religion. This is the group of guys I met on a train, and they were They call themselves the atheist bishops who are terrorizing religiosity out of England. Yes. And
yeah, you give them blessings. Give them some blessings. Yeah.
And I
Some blessings for me.
Matthew goes back.
Some blessings. I love that. I love that. And I know.
Yeah.
You can get me a video with him. Get a video with him.
Yeah. And I told him to bless me also as the Catholic, as the Anglican bishop is saying. You can see young people in Europe how they sarcastically attack religion. You can see young people in Europe how they sarcastically attack religion, how they expose the foolishness of religion. You can see, I met those guys on a train and I was impressed. They were talking intelligently. They are atheists, they're young people below even 20 years. And I told them I'm an atheist. They were so happy. So they said, let us do something on this train. We are going to baptize people. We are going to bless people. It was fun. Dean, thank you so much for Dean Kruger in South Africa. Thank you so much for this comment. You say that we never prayed before eating either. We trust that our mother could cook. Thank you so much, Dean Kruger, for that information. Now, you can see religion. I have told you that in Europe, look at those young lads I met. You have seen me. You have seen a video. Now you know what I'm saying, that Europe, the UK, has rejected your stupid gods. Africa, what are you waiting for? Why are you getting food to kill each other? Why are Nigerians killing each other over religion? Why do Nigerians kill each other over religion? Witchcraft does not exist. Why should we be butchering ourselves over gods we don't know about? The Europeans, the Englishmen, the Englishwomen, the UK citizens have rejected gods. You have just seen the evidence I've given you, me with young people I met on the train. I met them on a train. I have their numbers. They have taken my numbers. They are all over Facebook. Matthew is the guy who was playing the atheist bishop to mock religion, and on a train, and everyone was laughing. Everyone on the train was laughing. No one insulted them. No one insulted Matthew for playing the Pope, for ridiculing the Pope and saying the Pope does not do anything for him. He's called Matthew. Now, these are guys who are saying, look, we are thinking for ourselves, and these young people, they are below 20 years. There were 6 boys, all of them below 20 years. And everyone on the train was laughing. No one insulted them because they knew they have a right to mock religion. On a train, on a public train, no one insulted them. And because I'm an atheist, I stood up and said, guys, I support you. Let us do it again. Even better. Go and bless people. Let us take a photo. And they were so happy. They took my number and I took theirs. We connected on Facebook, the young people. But I was so impressed by these young lads, how they think, how they act. They told me we are thinking for ourselves. We are taking the UK forward. There are nothing good with religion, And this is what Dean Kruger says. Africans are still praying to white Jesus. Yes, why? Don't even pray to a black Jesus, but it's an insult to pray to a white Jesus. Why do you pray to an actor who made a film in Hollywood or whatever it was, an European, Why do you worship a Jesus that never existed? Dan Kruger is telling you this. Why are you wasting your time praying to a white guy? But I'm even saying, if it was a black guy, do not pray to anything. These are mythical, these are created, these are lies that were made up to make sure that they can rule you people. The religion is a farce. The religion is fake. That's Matthew blessing people. Enjoy it as we conclude. I told him, Matthew, go back, bless people, and everyone was laughing. And that's the team I met on the train. They call themselves the Catholic and the atheist bishops. They call themselves the atheist bishops. They are mocking everyone, and they are saying it's stupid to believe in this mythology. So thank you so much, Dennis, for that video. I will sign out and say thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Today, we always will have 1 hour of a show. Thank you so much for our sponsors. Thank you so much for our producers, our team of hosts. Next week is going to be better and bigger and much livelier next week. Tune in every now and again. Keep on checking. Please subscribe. This is Humans TV Africa, there for you. See you in the next one.